Assalamu alaikum. I'm Bushra Matahir and I'll be telling about quality function deployment today. This is for an assignment in my SBM class. So let's begin. In today's business environment, companies cannot just assume they know what customers want. They must know for sure. And once they know what customers want, businesses must then provide products and services to meet and exceed customers' desires. Business leaders have struggled for years to meet this challenge. Having the ability to truly listen to the voice of customer and respond to it appropriately is one good definition of a successful business, a business with a competitive advantage. We need to ensure quality. Quality must be designed into the product, not inspected into it or not be assumed. It can be defined as meeting customer needs and providing superior value. Quality function deployment is a structured approach to defining customer needs or requirements and translating them into specific plans to produce products to meet those needs. So important is the voice of customer data that no project should proceed without first ensuring it is real, factual, relevant, and correlates with the goals of the business. There's a useful and structured tool that helps translate both spoken and unspoken customer requirements into key business deliverables. This tool is quality function deployment. Now, quality function deployment has been here for nearly 40 years. It was introduced in Japan in 1960s. Their goal was to develop a tool that would design customer satisfaction into a product prior to being manufactured. Most of the other quality control methods of the time focused on fixing manufacturing problems after the fact. QFD is useful in a number of ways. Some examples are when a business knows the customer requirements but does not have adequate internal measurements relative to the requirements. Internal processes and practices of a business cannot meet the customer requirements. Large investment is required. There's a lack of agreement within a business organization on how to proceed with making the product or delivering requirements. There are competing alternatives for market segments. Now, how does QFD work? QFD requires basic customer needs are identified. They're broken down in general requirements into more specific requirements by probing what is needed. We ask the question why and why again from the customer until we arrive at the basic need that is to be fulfilled. Now, it is a matrices that is made. There are 4 stages to it. Each stage is known as house of quality number 1, 2, 3, 4, and it proceeds. Basically, the first house of quality is the customer's house. We say it's a customer's house because here we identify the needs of the customer and we decipher the needs of the customers and put them into unambiguous terms. So the customer needs are mentioned over here. We'll see how further it develops. It's a very comprehensive sort of matrices. The primary goal is to translate the voice of the customer into unambiguous and clear language. A business must understand what measurements the customer is using to determine if it has met their requirements. Next, the company must identify its internal metrics which determine if it has met the customer requirements. Key elements that are critical to completing the first house are customer needs, which go over here. Then there's measurable characteristics of the customer's need, which go over here. The relationship between these two, it comes over here. How strong it is moderate, is it low? All comes over here. Then we do the competitive benchmarking, which goes to the right. This is the second HOQ. The competitive thing goes over here. There's another matrices for that. Then there are preliminary measurement targets that will meet the customer's requirement. We correlate the relationship, the design characteristics over here, and there are values assigned and for the difficulty level of each characteristic to be executed. Once the company has identified the key elements above, by the way, this is how detailed it can get. So you can see over here, all the markings are mentioned, how strong relationship, modern relationship, weak relationship. Over here are customer requirements. Now we have deciphered them over here into more clear terms. on which company can work. Then we correlate over here. The priority ranking given by the customer is over here. The technical difficulty is down below. Over here we have done competitive evaluations. So the by X's and O's we mean the O is the competitor company and the X's are us. Then we have over here this triangle refers to the correlation between the characteristics of the needs. For example, how each need relate with each other. For example, so the double X's are a strong negative relationship, while the O's, the blank O's, are strong positive relationship. Over here, same goes for here, but we see the stronger relationship is shown by the filled circle, and then we rank it over here. The importance rating is given by a mathematical calculation where priority rating and target values and technical difficulty all are taken into account, and then we come up with importance ratings. And the more important it is, the more priority we give to it, so that it's transferred into next house of quality. The next house of quality is the product service design. Similarly, over here we come up with concepts that will help us in bringing out those design characteristics. Like for example, there can be 3 or 4 alternative concepts, and those will come over here, while the design characteristics come over here, and we repeat the process by correlating each thing, identifying the relationships between them, and scoring and targeting, and the least ones are left behind and the highest ones are gone to the next stage. Now the next stage is basically the process design. So the process design is the third house. Third house is typically constructed during the analyze phase. The goal of completing the third house is to determine which processes that have data can be used to meet the customer's need. It is possible that the process does not exist, so it may need not be developed. Now, similarly, when the scores and targets are given, the higher scored processes are gone to the next stage, which is process control. Process control house is typically constructed during the control phase. The purpose of constructing this house is to identify the control variables that are being used to meet the customer's needs. For example, like how do we ensure quality at each phase of production? The manufacturing process that we took from here, how do we maintain it throughout the production, the manufacturing process, and how do we ensure quality, and how do we ensure consistency? So this is HOQ number 1. Now I'll show you with an example how you can do it, but it's a rather very simple example, and I've done it myself, so it's not that comprehensive. Now this is the first stage. I haven't done the last step. I haven't done 2 steps, which is basically the correlation of each characteristics, also the final ratings, as I was not sure about the formulas. So let's see, if you're opening a French fries business, right? So the customer requires it to be crispy, it should melt in their mouth, it should be long, it should be flavorful. Now how do we decipher it? Now first, the customer has rated it. For the crispy, rating is 5, so it's a high priority item for them. Similarly and others. Now how do we decipher this? Crispy outside is the same thing, so I just took it like that only. Then it melts in mouth, so basically the melting in mouth thing can be coming from precise cooking times or the potato quality, stuff like that. Then long, then again it's potatoes business, how long the fry will be. Flavorful, that is how also the potato, and also the how you make it crispy, and what coating do you use. So then I rated them, the technical difficulty of each thing. I told the competitive evaluation. So for example, this is competitor and this is us. Their product is more crispy than ours, similarly. Now then, whatever is the most important thing, like crispy outside has the highest ratings, so I took them in the next stage. So that was precise cook. Similarly with precise cooking time, it had one strong relationship to, so I took it over here. Now how can you get crispy outside fry and a precise cooking time for which it melts in mouth and stuff like that? Crispy outside will be flour. Now there are 3 alternative ways you can get it. Your batter coating, the flour batter coating, how crispy will be determined through it. The twice fried method, so you fry it before and then you fry it afterwards. Then the premium potatoes, how good the quality of the potato is. 3 of them have a very strong relationship with crisp outside, and the precise cooking time also has a strong relationship with the twice fried. So then I rated all 3 of them. There are various other measurements to it, and that's how you proceed. In a more complex and a more comprehensive environment, like for example if you're manufacturing a mobile phone or a laptop, it would be too much detailed. Like for example here they were doing it for car, so it's very detailed, and there are even more bigger than this. So that's how basically it works, and you result all of this results in a quality premium product, and that is the whole motive of UFD. Thank you.